Welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show right here on YouTube. Revived. Back. Boy, yesterday, man, that was some crazy stuff that went down. I need to give a call to Buzzy Heidel today. I couldn't even pick up the phone yesterday. It looked like your boy suffered some food poisoning.
You think that's what it was?
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
I think I ate a bad English muffin yesterday morning. It took about an hour and a half to get me. And once it hit me, boys, it was a hell of a day. I probably lost about 12 to 15 pounds yesterday.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm telling you, it was nuts. Never in my broadcasting life has that ever happened to me during a live show where it was about to happen. I mean,
Yeah.
My mom called me and she was like, I went back and watched what you were talking about, and at the end of that Buzzy interview, you can tell. I mean, you're like putting your hands over your face, you're like moving around in your chair,
squirming.
Yeah, man, it was bad. But we're back here on this Tuesday. Appreciate you being out there. We had talked a lot about Capital City Soul, who is the music that is bringing us in. We want to give a shout out to that group, Chris Allen and Capital City Soul. Chris Allen is the lead singer for that group, and they have put together. They've spent a lot of studio time and putting together an introduction for us. They have one with vocals, without vocals, but they are a local band. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram at Capital City Soul BR. You can find them on Facebook at Capital City Soul. They're great for weddings. If you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, you'll receive a little bit of a discount on that wedding booking. So mention the Jordy Culotta Show when you get in touch with Capital City Soul or anything. It doesn't have to be for a wedding. It can be for anything.
Bar mitzvah.
But hit them on social media at Capital City Soul, and shout out to the crew over there. Looking forward to today's show. We will jump into it. Hunt Palmer going to stop by the Undisclosed Location for the first time. He'll be here at 7:30 this morning. We'll talk to Hunt about LSU Baseball, who exploded last night offensively as Gavin Dugai hit a grand slam for the Tigers, but they were paced well last night offensively. We'll catch you up on that coming up. LSU Basketball with a big road trip today. They will be heading off to Athens, Georgia to take on the Bulldogs. That'll be a SEC Network tip-off at 6 o'clock this afternoon. John Brady from the LSU Sports Radio Network will stop by. He'll be on the call this evening. Will Wade had some really cool remarks about Coach Brady yesterday in his press conference. We will get his reaction to those comments, and we'll also get a preview of tonight's game. Some big news in recruiting that we'll catch you up on to start the show with Chris Hilton and A.J. Johnson, who is the latest to commit to LSU's class of 2022. And then Walker Howard was bumped up to a 5-star over in Lafayette. If you followed him during his junior season, not a big surprise there. Frank Wilson, who is a Tuesday regular with us, is going to stop by at straight up 8 a.m. McNeese, of course, with that impressive come-from-behind victory in Week 1 versus Tarleton State, 40-37 in double OT. Coach Wilson and the Pokes had last weekend off. They will open up their home schedule this Saturday versus Incarnate Word over in Lake Charles. So we'll talk to Coach Wilson about getting prepared, some of the things that they've been dealing with here for this spring football schedule. That's 8 a.m. every Tuesday morning here on the Jordy Culotta Show. And then, as we said, we'll talk to John Brady coming up at 8:30 this morning. So looking forward to it. Remember, jump inside of the bunker. If you're watching on YouTube, we always appreciate you to like, share the post. Also get in there and comment if you have a question for the Jordy Culotta Show. All you got to do is just drop the hashtag #AskTheJC Show, Ask the Jordy Culotta Show, and we will answer the questions at 8:15. Everybody good?
Yeah.
Everybody
You good, dude?
I'm good, bro. I really am.
Think about you.
Yeah, no, I turned the corner probably last night around 9 a.m. I mean, it's about 9 p.m. About 9 p.m. Yesterday, 9 a.m. was bad. 9 p.m. yesterday just felt like I kind of turned the corner. I mean, I would try to do it, and it just, man, it would cripple me.
Yeah.
It was not good. It was not good yesterday.
You checked the date on that English muffin? Is that what you?
Yeah, I went back and saw there was two
Moldy spots.
there was two bags.
50-50 shot.
Yeah, right, Coach.
Yeah. I mean,
4:30 in the morning, I grabbed the wrong one.
Yep.
So we're all
it's in
good.
the trash now.
Yeah, no, both of them are in the trash. Did we went and tightened up on the grocery, so we're good. So look, it's going to be we're back here on the Jordy Culotta Show after yesterday, and when we caught you up, Rivers she's working more behind the scenes now as we see Wes Shin going inside of the bunker asking about Rivs, and we explained it a little bit yesterday. Kid situation, our schedule over here. She's a beast on social media. We're kind of keeping her behind the scenes now for the most part, but we will obviously have her back and forth and try to get her in as much as possible if we can, if the opportunity allows. But right now, just working a little bit more behind the scenes and definitely going to be helping us out with all of our social media and what she does in that arena. But LSU baseball last night, Tigers explode 14 runs over the final 3 innings as they were down 4 late in that contest to come back and win 16-7 at Skip Bertman Field, Alec Box Stadium on Monday night. Tigers now 2-1 on the season as they beat Louisiana Tech with the loss right now. Louisiana Tech 1-1. LSU will be back in action versus UL Lafayette 6 o'clock Wednesday. That'll be down at Teague Moore Field in Lafayette at Russo Park. But as we said, junior left fielder Gavin Dugas last night was really the guy that set the pace for LSU's 14-hit output by collecting 6 ribbies, including a grand slam in the 6th inning. Dylan Cruz hit another solo home run last night. He also had 3 hits, 2 ribbies. They had a junior catcher in last night, Jake Wyeth, who is helping out Milazzo here during the midweek games. He was pretty effective at the plate as he had a nice double and knocked in 4 last night. Javen Coleman got the win for LSU as he looked really good on the mound. 3 2/3 innings of work, recorded 7 strikeouts while allowing 1 walk, 1 hit, and 1 run. That grand slam by Dugas was the first for LSU since February of 2019. We'll talk to Hunt Palmer about it coming up here at 7:30 this morning. And I'm looking forward to asking Hunt, is this the potential of an LSU offense, or was last night an outlier? Because we've seen so much of the criticism, so much of the feedback around LSU baseball, whether it was early on this season or throughout the last couple of years, that they're just not a timely hitting club. They've not been able to have anything offensively that has been a threat. It seems like they've got a couple of dudes
with some pop in the bat
that can hit it, man.
Dugas was juiced after that grand slam too. You could tell that they wanted something to happen.
That was a good scene of him.
Yeah,
rounding the bases.
So bad. They hear everything that that people say about the offense, so I'm sure that was kind of a little statement for them. And Dylan Cruz is an absolute monster.
A monster. I mean,
he looks the part too.
He does look the part. I mean, he's got everything that LSU thought they were getting in Dylan Cruz. I mean, he seems to be more than that. I mean, like that's back-to-back days with timely home runs, pop. I mean, he's got that sweet swing. It just sounds different,
right?
Like coming off his bat. So you know what I mean? Like if you didn't have your eyeballs on a batting cage and you were just hearing the bat come off the ball, Cruz sounds a little different. I mean, it just the way that he turns on it, kind of like a Cabrera Bregman type feel, where it just. Man, I mean, he's just different.
You can tell Ben McDonald kind of goes, ooh, every time he hits it, because he's like, that's a big league swing. Like, that's that big league pop that you hear. He knows, and if he can tell, then anybody can tell. Yeah.
Matthew Chauvin talking about Trey Morgan being 0 for 6 last night offensively. It was a rough night for him at the plate, but I love his glove. I love his athleticism.
And they were all hard hit balls. He just hit lasers right at everybody.
Yeah.
So that's just bad luck. Keep swinging it that way, you'll find some hits.
So we'll talk to Hunt Palmer more about this roster, more about some of the guys that have stood out to him early on. We'll get his thoughts over the weekend of what LSU baseball looked like from his point of view as the Tigers opened up with a 1-1 split versus Air Force on the Friday-Saturday slate, or excuse me, the Saturday-Sunday slate, and then last night pummeled Louisiana Tech to improve to 2-1 on the season. And as we said, they'll be at Teague Moore Field in Lafayette on Wednesday night, taking on the Cajuns, as that will be LSU and UL matching up here early on in this regular season. So looking forward to talking to Hunt a little bit about that coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We're brought to you by Go Chevrolet. Remember, online at GEAUXchevrolet.com. Get in touch with Lee Carney, Nick Richard, and the entire crew over there. If you're looking for any new make models on Chevrolet, whether it be an Impala, if you're looking for an SUV, if you're looking for a Suburban, whatever you're looking for, get over to Go Chevrolet today. We mentioned that it's off the interstate, off I-10. If you're heading to New Orleans from Lafayette, from Gonzales, from Baton Rouge, and you want to stop off and see the crew, they're right there off the Laplace exit. Stop in and see Nick Richard, Lee Carney. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show, as they take care of us every day here on over at Go Chevrolet. LSU basketball with a big one tonight coming up at Georgia. Just try to keep this momentum rolling for Will Wade and his crew. 3 straight impressive wins over SEC talent. Coach Wade yesterday met with the press and caught up just kind of everything that's been going on with his team. I thought it was an interesting comment that he had. Jacques Doucette asked him following yesterday or during yesterday's press conference on just kind of the state of mind of his team and about a comment that he made following Saturday's win versus Auburn, talking about how he had more input. He wasn't taking in or listening as much as he was demanding of his team. And whatever has happened over the last month, whatever has happened over the last couple of weeks, has been a obvious shift for the LSU basketball team. Whether it has been the messaging from the coaching staff or the head coach to his group, whether it has been the buy-in from the players to that message that has been being sent to the LSU basketball team, or it just seems like whatever was plaguing them early on in the season is no longer around. Because we talked a little bit about it yesterday. It was very much an individual team. It very much felt like a team that was built on individuals, guys that were looking to get theirs. They didn't matter. They didn't care, it seemed, on the outcome of the game. It didn't seem to matter on where the production was coming from. If there was a opportunity for Javonte Smart, if there was an opportunity for Trenton Wofford, if there was an opportunity for Cam Thomas to get a shot that may not be the best for that possession, they were firing it up. Over the last month, the difference has been shot selection offensively and then just the attention to defense, right? I mean, LSU over the last couple of games, averaging over 92 points and shooting no less than 53% from the field. That's tough to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, that is tough to win against a team that is scoring at that rate and shooting at that rate. It's shot selections. It's execution on offense. Cam Thomas is getting to his 25, 27 a night much more efficiently than he was over the first 3 weeks of the season. You knew you had a scorer in Thomas. You know, Will Wade, Bill Armstrong, the entire crew would tell you the type of player that Thomas is when they signed him. But to get the most out of him, to maximize that scoring mentality, you want to limit the amount of shots that he's taking to really cause to really influence his team around him to be effective. And with Cam, over the last couple of games, it looks like he may have elevated himself to the SEC Player of the Year as he's averaging those 25, because the difference, another piece that has been a difference, has been the ancillary parts of this LSU team, right? The play from Josh LeBlanc, Mwani Wilkinson, Andre Hyatt, Eric Gaines. Those guys have been picking up the slack, and they have had a role. They have had a responsibility, and they've bought in. And that, to me, has been one of the big changes for LSU basketball. You know the big four are going to get theirs. You know that Cameron Thomas is going to get his 25. You know that Javonte Smart is playing right now as good as any guard in the league. Trenton Watford is going to get his every night. And Darius Days has proven his worth with being back into the lineup over the last couple of games, and what he gives you, not only from a shooting and scoring standpoint, but on the glass, defensively, intensity. I just think that this group is playing so well at the right time. It's exactly where you want to be in a college basketball season where LSU is sitting right now. They're not playing quite their best, but it feels like they're starting to get there, and it feels like their confidence is coming along with that. Brandon Hollingsworth says that was always so frustrating. We've seen Will Wade be a really good bench coach when he had lesser talent his first year. If he coached up his talent like he did that team, they'd be so good. Yeah, it's starting to happen right now. Brandon, when you look at just what they're getting out of this group right now, I think that was really kind of the message that Wade was sending in that press conference on Saturday, was that, to get Trendon Watford to come back, to get Javonte Smart and Darius Days to consider coming back like they have over the last 2 seasons and come back to Baton Rouge. You don't have to make promises to those guys, but you do have to make some concessions. Yeah. You do have to make that's just the nature of the beast. I know that there's some people that are listening to that may scratch their head or may say, "What do you mean? It's his team. He's got to run his team how he sees fit." And that's true to a degree, but what Trendon Watford was told when he went and worked out for NBA officials and NBA executives was that you need to become a better ball handler. And I think that probably Will Wade told him, we will try to develop that skill for you if you come back for another season.
Let you bring it up the court.
Yeah. I mean, we'll put you in situations where we can showcase that for you, where LSU basketball can showcase that for Trendon Watford. I think it got to a point where it truly was. It was setting the team back. It wasn't bad for the team. It was bad for the team. It was starting to have a reverse effect where the thing was starting to blow up. I think that people were starting to disengage. I think people were starting to not pay attention to the messaging from the coaches. And I think what Wade was saying was that we're done with that. We're done with doing people favors. We're done with giving out promises or following through on promises that are not hurting or not helping the team, right? I mean, it's one thing in August to say, yeah, we'll let you bring the ball up, but then you have 3 straight games where Trendon Watford brings it up and he's a turnover. I mean, then you have to say, look, man, you need to work on the ball handling in the offseason because you're not ready to be that player that the NBA is asking you to be once you get there. So you've got a lot of work to do to get to the next level. Right now, presently, LSU basketball needs to get right and try to make this run towards March. And for that to happen, this is going to be your role. And I think everybody's starting to buy in on that role. I mean, I think that roles have been established, responsibilities have been handed out. And this is the beautiful part about team. Team is that you have a guy like Cam Thomas that can get you 27 every night. Javonte Smart, who can play like one of the best point guards in the country in the league, night in, night out. Darius Days that can help you on both sides of the floor. Watford, who has, just unlimited potential. And these ancillary parts like Mwani Wilkinson. I love Andre Hyatt. I mean, Andre Hyatt was, to me, has been as big of a difference maker over the last 3 games as Cam has.
Well, it seems like when they come in, they know exactly what they're doing. They know what they're supposed to do when they get on the court, as opposed to whenever we were just throwing people out there. It seems like everybody kind of fell under the Cam Thomas spell. It was like, give him the ball, clear out, and watch him work, because they've seen what he can do at practice. They know how good he is. And I think Will Wade's a little guilty of that as well. It's like, get this guy the rock and let him score. And then it turned into we're just all kind of standing around and watching him play.
Well, that relates back to what Jordy was talking about how everybody looked like it was just a team of people trying to get theirs and be their own.
And I think Will Wade put his foot down, I was like, look, we got to play team ball, because he's known how to coach his entire career. He knows how to get people in a position to win, and now they're kind of getting there. Everybody knows their defined role and how to play in that system.
That morning we had him here in the Undisclosed Location. I think you could see it. He was very frustrated with his team.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like, that was a point where, they were kind of at a crossroads on what was going to happen. Was this season going to be a bust?
What kind of team are we going to be?
Or was this going to be the team that had the potential that everybody talked about and going to make this run? What was it going to happen? What was going to happen? What was it going to be? And it felt like around that time period is when you started to see the changes. Just kind of, whether it be the as I call it, the messaging from the coaching staff, or the buy-in from the players, whatever has clicked has changed. And I think great examples of that are 104 points. I think great examples of that are scoring on inbounds plays. I think great examples of that are
turnovers,
crashing the glass,
yes,
out rebounding Auburn the way they did, the points in the paint like they had, the points on fast break points opportunities that they had on Saturday. That's a basketball team that's having fun.
Right.
That's a basketball team that's enjoying playing. I think that you could have argued whether or not they even wanted to be there. a couple
Yeah,
of games a month ago. You know,
It was like when we were watching the Alabama game, and Alabama was diving for loose balls, causing turnovers, and they were having fun. And it was at the PMAC, and they're kind of taking it to us on our home floor, and we're watching the game, going, "What kind of team are we watching?" They're just rolling over and dying, and that was kind of the crossroads. After that, you lose to Texas Tech, you lose to Alabama, and then you go, "Well, what are we doing here? You either roll over and die, or you make a run at the tournament." And they chose the latter.
That look that we had when we were in here watching that game to now is just
A completely different
Yeah,
team.
it's a totally different team. It's a totally different team. They've got a huge week ahead of them as they will face Georgia tonight. They will face Arkansas on Saturday,
That's the
who's tied with them in
Yeah,
second place.
that's the
LSU,
game.
Arkansas tied in second place, and Arkansas is playing really good right now as well. They're playing with a lot of confidence heading into that matchup, and then LSU will close out the season at home versus Vanderbilt next week before the SEC tournament. Our friend Tom Hart will be on the call on the SEC network tonight for LSU Georgia. So will John Brady on the LSU Sports Radio Network. And we will talk to the coach coming up here at 8:30 this morning. Some glowing remarks from Will Wade on John Brady yesterday, and I loved to see that stuff because, from my point of view, I've had a chance to see that friendship, see that relationship kind of grow. John Brady is a mentor to me. He's almost like a father figure to me. Will Wade is a really good friend of mine. And to see those guys, the way that they go back and forth, is cool. And to hear Coach Wade recognize that yesterday. Can we play the soundbite, Lloyd? I know that we'll play this again at 8:30 when Coach Brady gets here. He's heard it, but I just want to get his reaction real time. This is what Will Wade said yesterday, Coach John Brady. It's a little bit of a longer bite. It's 2 minutes, but it's really good. And he kind of gives some in-depth of their relationship and how they work together.
He's been great, man. He's been awesome. He's been an unbelievable resource for me. Obviously a tremendous coach, and his expertise is, on the defensive end. He's given me some good ideas. One of the worst parts about everything now is we don't have anybody coming in practice. Like, he used to come to practice a couple times a week. He'd certainly come the day before games, and I'd be able to run things by him or run things off of him. Tell you what, that year we won the SEC, he really helped me after we lost at Houston. I talked to him on the plane for a long time. It's just great, having him around. He loves LSU. I'm hopeful that we can get him in the LSU Hall of Fame at some point for being in the Final Four coach and doing everything that he's done for LSU and for the state. But he's been awesome. I didn't really know him at all before I got here, but we've become good friends. We text, we talk. He gives me observations. I wish he's so nice and he's so worried about, I wish he'd text me. A lot of times he don't text me any observations till I ask him. I'm like, Coach, what do you think about this? What can we do better here? That sort of thing. But, I wish he'd just text me out of the blue, but he's so cautious not to be, he doesn't want to be seen as overly involved or overly overbearing. But he's been absolutely awesome. He's been one of the best things that's happened is having him back around, having him doing the radio. And I don't know, I know he's great on the radio because Chris tells me he's great on the radio. I've never heard the broadcast, but he's been really good. And like I said, I hope he can get in that. LSU Hall of Fame. He deserves it, and he's done a lot for the school, and he loves LSU. He's back in Louisiana, and I hope he can find a way to get in that thing.
First things first, we'd love to see Coach John Brady get in into the LSU Hall of Fame, just for just his accomplishments and what he did in 11 years. A couple of SEC Western Division titles, won the SEC, went to the Final Four, put out pros. I mean, he really was a great representative during his time of LSU basketball. But to hear that relationship the way that it works today, it's pretty cool. It really is. I mean, you think about it, Will Wade is right around my age. He's 39, 38 years old. And Coach Brady, obviously being who he is, we have almost the same amount of age difference. And when Wade and I talk about Brady, we talk about him in the same type of respect, the same light, because just the way that he listens and takes not necessarily pointers or recommendations from Wade. He just listens to philosophy from Coach Brady. right? Whether it be defensive philosophy. I would be willing to bet, Brady would never tell you this. Wade would the next time we have him on. But I'd imagine a lot of those inbounds executions are coming from Brady.
Really?
I mean, if you go back and watch his team, he puts a huge emphasis on being able to score in the special teams. I mean, it's about a 6 to 8 point swing every game. If you can score off of an in or a side out, I mean, you're looking about 6 to 8 points a game that you can take away.
And there's no reason not to score on those plays, but there's definitely no reason to turn it over on those plays.
Yeah, you can't turn the ball over. Can't turn it over.
That's what we were doing. And yeah, go ahead.
And just the emphasis that Brady puts on that part, and the defense. I think we got our next guest. Yep, at the UDL. And we'll talk to Hunt Palmer about this because I just think that the relationship that they share, to hear that publicly talked about yesterday, I think it's a cool insight on just kind of how those two guys function. Just day in, day out, going back and forth and talking basketball. Daily, we're brought to you by Culotta Real Estate. Over at Culotta Real Estate, they got a lot of cool stuff happening right now. Our good friend Barrett Blondo is really changing the game on how real estate is done. It's no secret that they are trying to, that we are trying to disrupt how things are done around media, advertising, and moving forward. My friend of over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing the same thing for real estate with his new company, Culotta. I met with him in his own personal undisclosed location. I got firsthand to see what Culotta has been working on. It blew my mind. They're putting together all the tools once reserved for professionals right in the hands of the homeowners. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. For more information, give my friend Barrett Blondo a call this morning, 939-6153, or visit Culotta.com for more information. Let's walk our next guest into the undisclosed location here. We can put him right here on the couch. Go ahead and boy, do you look like an insurance salesman here today.
He does.
As he sits right on the couch and plops down. How are you, buddy?
I don't know that I've ever put on a blindfold before.
Okay.
That works.
All right. Good to see you,
Oh,
man.
you had a little sleep mask, dude?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Culotta.
Thank you for coming over here, buddy.
Absolutely.
It's great to see you.
Absolutely. Thrilled to be here.
You want to start basketball or baseball?
Whatever you want. Your show.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Last 3 weeks. What do you accredit the change? What do you accredit the turnaround? I thought that Wade's answer Saturday after the Auburn game, where he said, "I've been taking control of the messaging." I think that was kind of like we're not doing anybody any favors anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about that kind of stuff because I'm not there.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm speculating. I'm speculating.
I'm looking at what I see on the floor. Getting Days back is huge. I mean, he helps you a ton on the offensive glass. He's shooting the lights out. Watford has been better, making some shots, not turning it over. We can talk about the last time they played Georgia when he went 3 of 10 from the line and turned it over 8 times. He's playing better. I heard you talking about this. The role guys have really given some positive minutes. Hyatt comes in on Saturday, gets 5 offensive rebounds, knocks down a 3, helping a little bit on defense. I love the minutes that LeBlanc's finally giving him. I was pretty critical of him on the podcast up to a couple of weeks ago. He just gave him nothing on offense, really wasn't affecting the game on the defensive end. He just
running around out there.
Wasn't really impacting the game at all. In the last 2 games, he's got 5 blocks. He had a double-double on Saturday. He's starting to figure it out a little bit. And that's not surprising. His numbers were good at Georgetown. He scored in double figures for those guys and started a bunch of games. So he's coming along. And then Gaines is still brutal to watch on offense, but he's really something on defense with the way he's got some Tremont in him where he can get his hands on balls, knock things out, get steals, and he's creative. I think his shot eventually will come. I've compared him over the last couple of weeks to Quarterman as a freshman. You can tell he knows what he's doing out there, but he can't really finish at the rim against these bigger guys, and he's not making any shots. So on offense, he's just not really great. But you can tell that he's going to be pretty good.
The Big Four. John Brady was here last week and said Javonte is the best guard in the league over the last month. Do you believe that? And what's been the difference?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have another great answer for you. I mean, Moses Moody's playing good at Arkansas. He's more of kind of a wing. Trey Mann's been good over at Florida. Schuler's been really good for Ole Miss. But Javonte's shooting well over 40% from 3, has all year, and has been phenomenal. I mean, I realize that it doesn't always look exactly the way that a lot of people want him. A lot of people want their point guard to be short and quick and pass it to everybody. they don't. When your point guard, shoots 7 threes a game, that's not a point guard. But it is in this day and age of basketball. Who are the best point guards in the NBA? None of them look like John Stockton. That's the way that the game is. And Javonte, I don't want anybody else on my team this year in the SEC. He's been so good in just about every game.
Yeah. Hunt Palmer joining us in the undisclosed location here. Cam Thomas has been getting to that 25-27 at a much higher rate and a much better efficiency shooting the ball. What have you seen that's been the difference over the last couple of games?
He still takes some shots that I kind of roll my eyes and go, really? He shot a fadeaway 18-footer with 22 on the shot clock real early in the game on Saturday, and he made it. And I was like, God, that's the one. That's the one we're shooting. But he's making more of them, and he is always going to be extremely efficient from the free throw line. I ran this stat on the podcast late last week. He's 5 or 6 percentage points higher than second place in the league from the free throw line. He's over 90%. Second place is somewhere around 84. That's a great place to score from. And to score from there, you have to shoot contested shots because they can't foul you unless they're there. So that's part of it. I think at times he gets a little bit too in love with going up for a shot and then flailing real bad to try to draw the contact. I think you can get a little bit of a reputation doing that, and they'll start looking at you going, I'm not going to fall for that every time.
It seems he hasn't gotten as many calls as of late. They're starting to kind of figure it out.
He's doing it for a reason. Yeah. He's trying to get to the line.
Days. I think his value has been proven over the last couple of games, whether it be his 14 points he gives you every day or just what he gives you on the glass, his intensity. You really can't replace him.
No, they don't really have anybody that can come in and do the things he does. Hester's been big on, hey, he's the most important player on the team. I don't really want to play without Javonte, to be quite honest. Yeah. But he's huge, and he shot the ball just incredibly well over 40%. That drags the opponent's 4 or 5 man out there where they didn't really want to be. And look, I'd rather have Cavell down there blocking shots and being 7 feet tall, and that's what I'd rather have. But
stretch 4.
It's an advantage that LSU has, and you've got to use what you got.
What do you think about this week? Georgia tonight, Arkansas Saturday.
If they win tonight, you can breathe easy. We're in. I think you can still lose at Arkansas, lose to Vanderbilt, go up to Nashville, and lose in the first round, and you'll still be in if you could beat Georgia tonight, based on where they are in the net, how many wins they've got. They're just all their losses are in quad one. Not a single loss outside of quad one. Now they're 3-6 in quad one, which isn't great, but you got a chance against Arkansas to get one there, and then potentially, depending on who you draw in Nashville, you could get another one. But if you can win tonight, which you should, Georgia's very bad on defense. They want to run, and they ran on LSU in Baton Rouge and built a second-half lead that LSU erased pretty quickly, but it got up to 10. You got to play transition defense, and you ought to be okay because LSU's going to score tonight. And then you take your quad one swing against Arkansas. See if you can try to get yourself off that 8 line and up to 7 or 6, where you got a better chance to get to the second weekend.
You got a shot, or you got a point where you see him seated right now?
Right now, they're probably an 8. They could be a 7, kind of depends, but they're probably an 8, and that's kind of a death sentence. I mean, you got to play. You're going to have to play Baylor, Gonzaga, Ohio State, Michigan, one of those teams in the second game if you get there, and they're just a lot better than you. Sure. So, for LSU to win their second game in the NCAA tournament, which is certainly not guaranteed, but you got to get off the 8 line, and then they've got to play like they did on Saturday to win the second one. They'll be on level ground in the first game, and they can play their normal game, and they should be in it and have a chance to win in the last 4 minutes. For them to win the second game, it's going to have to look like it did on Saturday. They're going to have to shoot. I mean, they shot 50% from the 3 on Saturday. They held their own on the glass, and they didn't turn it over and give out runouts in transition. That's what they're going to have to do to beat good teams in March.
LSU baseball is 3 games into this season. What have you made of this group?
So this is not people's favorite answer, but you don't know a lot. Here's what I do really early in baseball seasons. In the first 5 or 6 games, I'm not going to be able to tell what you can't do because you haven't had time to prove it. I can tell what you can do. I know Jaden Hill can throw 97 miles an hour and is working on a changeup, and the slider was throwing for strikes. I know Dylan Cruz last night took a fastball and hit it 420 feet to the opposite power alley.
Bro, he's a dude.
He's he should not be in college.
Yeah.
That was when I saw that.
He turns on the ball, bro.
He's
Like he
got
did it on Sunday.
Insane bat speed. But that's not. There aren't a lot of college players, period, that can hit the ball he hit last night.
They
there
have
are
him for
fewer
3
freshmen.
years?
Oh, yeah.
That was unbelievable. I mean, the most impressive thing really that I saw last night was Javin Coleman. I know that he can throw 93 from the left side with the plus breaking ball. That's one of those things that I would have seen that in the fall. And so I haven't really talked about him, but I couldn't go out there in the fall. So Maneri mentioned his name a couple times, but I never seen the kid pitch. I did last night. He looks to me like a guy who's going to pitch on the weekend at LSU. I mean, the stuff
Not this season?
Not this season, but the stuff that I saw last night was really eye-popping.
So, what did you make of the weekend games? Just give me your thoughts on Hill on Saturday, what you saw on Saturday, and then we'll move to Sunday.
Hill was brilliant. Just held his velocity, threw strikes. The breaking ball, he threw it for 4 strikes and froze guys. When you see those guys taking those breaking balls that are right down the middle, that's just a hitter who's up there saying, I have to be ready for 97, and I'm probably not good enough to read and react to 97. I've got to get ready for it, and then when it's not there, you just lock up, and that's lesser college hitters. That's not going to happen a ton when you play Florida. Some, but it's not going to happen a ton when you play Florida and some of those teams. But actually, Florida's not on the schedule this year. But he's overmatched in those guys, and that's a good thing. That's what you want your Friday night guy to be early in the season. I thought he was great. I thought Marceau was excellent too. Obviously, the defense didn't help him out, but he threw strikes, and I thought he got some strikeouts. He was very efficient with his pitch count. He's going to be really good this year.
Zach Arnold, is that your guy at short?
Yeah, got to be. I want so badly for Zach Arnold and Jordan Thompson to win the left side of the infield. That's your best capability. I want to see Will Safford. I think he deserves some at-bats. Got hurt before the game yesterday, but I think he deserves some at-bats. But you brought those guys here to be your left side of the infield. That's the reality of it, and he overthought it at third base. There was no reason to do that. And he knows. I mean, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter. You lost a game, and it's fine. But he overthought it. And Thompson was good last night. And those guys you brought here to play those positions, let them play. I can't imagine what they must have looked like in scrimmages and practices for him to pull a guy out of the bullpen and stick him at third base. That one is a little much.
What do you make of Trey Morgan? I know last night he was 0 for 6. He hit a lot of hard balls.
He hit a couple really hard the opposite way.
I love his defense.
Yeah, it's good. And I want him to hit leadoff. Cruz is going to come out of the leadoff spot, but they got to find somebody to get on base in front of him. Yeah. I don't mind at all hitting him second. I think Morgan's approach at the plate, he has no trouble going the other way. He looks like he's got a kind of aggressive take where he turns his back real hard, but it looks like he tracks the ball pretty well. He lets it get deep. I think he can get on base at the leadoff spot. But they're going to have to find a way to get Cruz down a couple notches.
What I know that they have they ruled on Giovanni?
I mean, it's a hamstring, and it's going to take a while.
What do they miss without him? Because it seems like he was one of the faces of this team.
Yeah, I don't think Drew Bianco's the answer, but I think Safford and then Sanford was okay last night. I wouldn't mind getting Maurice Hampton some at bats. But he is a more proven commodity than any of them. He got on base at a really good clip last year. Strikes out too much to be kind of a leadoff guy, but he plays good defense. He's very fast. He can create runs for an offense that's going to struggle to score. I mean, that's just the reality. It looks like they're going to struggle to score a little bit.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. It's all good. It's all good.
I got you muted. I got you muted. Let that thing rip.
I think they need him because he can create some offense for you. He can get on base. He can steal a base. He can score from places where other guys can't. So they need him back, but hopefully it's just a couple weeks.
The outfield, they have options. They have a lot of options out there. I mean, to see Bianco is surprising. I mean, because of the options they have. What do you make of the selections that they have of 3 out there?
There are a lot. I want. In some form or fashion, Dugas needs to be in the lineup.
Yeah.
So he can DH if that's what you want to do, however you want to handle Beloso. I think Cade can probably handle himself in the outfield, just like I think Dugas can. I think Bianco can play left field or right field. I mean, center field's a little bit different. I want a little little bit more speed out there. But they pinch ran with Bianco last night, so obviously he's a little quicker than I thought. But they've got some options. You got to try everybody out. I want Cruz is a lock. I think DiGiacomo needs to have a shot when he comes in. I'd like Will Safford to get some ABs because I think he's got the ability to get on base too, which they need. But look, Dugas has got to play too, and Beloso does too. So eventually you run out of spots, but they've got some options.
What about the bullpen and the closing role in this team? You have anybody that's stepping up?
Oh, Fontenot is going to be the closer, and I love him. I love the attitude. I love the stuff. He's going to be great. Beck couldn't find the zone last night, but he'll be okay. I think what I saw last night from Coleman tells me that he's going to be a factor in the bullpen. I still think Jacob Hasty, with the breaking ball that he's got, could be a factor in the bullpen. He wasn't great last night. Threw a lot of fastballs last night. I was just waiting for him to throw some more breaking balls because it's so good. But it starts with Fontenot, and you build backwards with Beck. They trust Vittmeyer for sure. And I still think, even though it didn't go great on Sunday, lost a release point and threw some balls, Ty Floyd's a talented dude, and I think they brought him here to be a weekend starter. I think he factors into the bullpen. They got enough arms. It's just a matter of can we figure out a way to score some runs.
Kyle Russo's got a question for Hunt inside of the bunker. He says, am I off the mark to think that 3 to 5 of these freshman pitchers are better options than Beck and Vittmeyer?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say that's wrong. But those guys are proven. Vittmeyer's sinker, cutter, slider guy that's gotten a lot of outs for you. Beck's got a plus breaking ball and usually throws strikes. And even though he's only 87 with the fastball, he kind of short arms it and it rides a little bit, so it gets on people. He blew it by a couple people last night. But yeah, there's no reason that Coleman and Floyd and some of those guys can't come in here and help immediately out of the bullpen. They're talented dudes.
Hunt Palmer with us here on the Undisclosed Location, at the Undisclosed Location of the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Ghost Chevrolet. Matchup versus UL midweek. You expect them to continue to develop some of these arms and see. It was good to see the guy behind the plate. His name's slipping my mind.
Wyeth?
He hit the ball well last night too. So I mean, it seems like they got depth at catcher.
They do. Wyeth is a guy who went to Baylor and sat behind Shane Langlois, who's a first-round pick, and then he went to JUCO and now comes here. He had a nice start to his JUCO season. You never know at that level if it's an elite competition or if they're playing really poor teams. But yeah, I mean, Travinsky ripped a ball last night and then was pinch run for. It's a guy from Mile High School for a little bit, then he bailed and went to Airline. But he was at Loyola for a second, and we have to take that.
What the hell is this guy doing at Loyola? Get him to Airline.
That's all we got. Is we don't have another chance, so I have to take it while I can. But they got depth at catcher, and to your first point, you've got to use arms. You can't use the same guys every game. You're playing 8 games in 9-10 days, whatever it is. Yeah, you gotta roll guys in and out and get guys some options. I think you'll see Fontenot on Wednesday because he didn't pitch on Sunday and Monday, obviously, so he'll get an inning tomorrow. So I'm not sure what ULL's got this year, but it's usually a good environment over there.
LSU football. I haven't talked to you since then, but they were able to close that recruiting period by getting Brian Thomas. I think there were points during that recruitment where it felt like LSU had no shot, and for them to get him at the end, they got to have the best wide receiver class in the country.
Yeah, it's very good. I mean, Alabama's is quite good too, but surprise. I couldn't have Brian Thomas going to Texas A&M because once you start that little pipeline, it's hard to shut it off. And we couldn't shut it off in Tuscaloosa. That's a totally different animal. But the more guys you can get over there from Louisiana, especially good ones, and they can go on a visit and say, "Yeah, you can come over here to Texas. Like it's cool. Like it's I don't want that's a slope I don't want to play with." And I've made my thoughts on Texas A&M very clear. They have inched up my hatred rankings with a quickness, and I don't want any success for any of them. I'm thrilled that the best season in the history of their program was when no one could go to games and half the teams didn't care. So we'll see what they've got next year. But I'm glad that they kept Thomas home.
Oh, real quick before I get you out of here, and thank you for coming by this morning, and we look forward to talking to you each week here on the Jordy Culotta Show. LSU is a top 10 baseball team in the country, but selected 4th in the SEC West. I know you don't put a lot of stock in preseason college baseball polls, but how loaded is the conference top to bottom this year?
It's really good. I'm watching Jack Leiter stuff from last night.
Oh,
Vandy's number 2 starter throwing 99. He might be the second pick in the draft
behind Kumar.
Rockers. It's good. Ole Miss played great this weekend. Arkansas played really well. Those teams are really good. I think LSU's probably closer to fourth in the West than they are top 10 in the country at this point. I still have serious questions about the offensive ability of this team, but it's early. And last night was a perfect microcosm of a baseball season. I mean, I'm certain that everybody wanted to fire the coach in the fourth inning, and by the end of it, we had doubled up. And, it doesn't matter.
Yep. Extend him.
Yeah, it's it's a good conference, and you got to buckle up and try to go win some games. The good news is that Hill and Marceau are going to start 20 SEC games for LSU, so that's a good start.
Who's the third starter?
Labus, and he was good for 3 innings last night, and then they killed him in the fourth inning. I mean, you don't usually see a guy give up 7 hits in an inning like they did, and Tech's got a pretty good offensive club, and Labus wasn't great, but he's gotten a lot of outs. He was brilliant last year in just about every start, and it was his first time back. He'll be fine, and he's a good fit on Sundays, but a little bit of a disappointing inning last night.
That is Hunt Palmer from the LSU Sports Radio Network. You can catch him every Tuesday right here on the Jordy Culotta Show, giving you all the information on LSU baseball, basketball, and then, of course, the podcast.
Yeah, Hoops and Hunt, presented by old Hungry Howie's over there. And we're going to get that posted here pretty shortly. Game preview with Georgia, and like I said, win this one, and you're in the dance, which would be the first time they've been, would be 3 years in a row since '92, I think.
All right, daily here, we are brought to you by Edward Jones. Remember, online at edwardjones.com. In fact, you can get in touch with Daniel Newman this morning over at Edward Jones, as he can help you with anything that you may be looking for with financial questions, 401k, Social Security, anything that you may have a question about with your finances. Get in touch with Daniel Newman. He is our personal financial advisor here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We rolled over the 401k to him. He promised it was going to be simple, and it was easy. We went and met with Daniel Newman. He's over at Magnolia Square out there in Central, right across from Stabs. And you can email Daniel Newman this morning at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Remember, if you're out at the plants, if you're working at Exxon, Dow, BASF, and you've got some questions about the your financial package and how it may work, whether it be post-work, whether it be presently, get in touch with Daniel Newman as he can explain that financial breakdown from the plant system, as well as anybody in the industry. Daniel.Newman@edwardjones.com. Hunt Palmer with us every Tuesday. We'll be back to close out hour number 1. Hey, it's no secret what we got going over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. We're trying to disrupt how media and advertising moves forward. My friend of over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing the same thing for real estate with his new company, Falaya. I met with him in his own personal undisclosed location, and I got to see firsthand what Falaya has been doing and what he's been working on. It blew my mind, man. They are putting all the tools once reserved for professionals right in the hands of the homeowner. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. For more information, give my guy Barrett Blondo a call today at 225-939-6153 or visit him at Falaya. That's FALAYA.com for more info. Barrett Blondo over at Falaya.com. Changing the game in real estate. Every time we talk to LSU head basketball coach Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta Show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Some exciting new things coming up at Phil's here during the Lenten season, including featuring new seafood specials every Friday, in addition to the seafood-filled menu over there. And they're offering up brunch right now on Saturday and Sundays, which will have bottomless mimosas. Don't forget Monday night 50-cent oysters and $2 draft beers. All over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out. They're online at philsoysterbar.com, but they're located in the South Downs Shopping Center, a staple here in Baton Rouge for a long time. Go tell Anthony Piazza and the crew hello. Phil's Oyster Bar. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at RMB-Builders, and Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com. Can you be assured that the air and surfaces in your home are clean, sanitized, and safe for you and your entire family? You can now by logging on to valera.com/Jordy Culotta, where you, your home, your office, your family can be protected 24/7 with active pure technology. This NASA-based science has proven 99.9% reduction of airborne SARS-2 and COVID-19 virus in just 3 minutes. Log on now to valera.com/Jordy Culotta.
Have a late night and can't make it for the Jordy Culotta show at 7 a.m.? No worries. Catch us on demand on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet, Tuesday edition. Appreciate Hunt Palmer for stopping by in the undisclosed location. Great to see Hunter as he is tying the knot this Friday. So congratulations to the Palmers, as Hunt will be he'll be with us every week here on OTB. Looking forward to our conversation with Hunt, as we'll be breaking down all the LSU stuff with Hunt, as he'll be here. Looks like each Tuesday. Some recruiting news, and really, remember, you can get your questions in the hashtag Ask the JC Show, Ask the Jordy Culotta Show. If you want to get them in, we'll get them answered coming up in the second hour today. Just drop that hashtag inside of the bunker, and we can answer your questions coming up here during the second hour. Some big recruiting news happening over the last 72 hours for LSU football and in and around LSU football. We'll start with A.J. Johnson. I know we talked a little bit about this yesterday, but Johnson is the latest commit for the class of 2023 for LSU football, as he is a talented four-star wide receiver from Newman High School. He announced on Friday that he was committing to LSU. He chose the Tigers over Georgia and Alabama. He's rated the number 19 wide receiver in the country and the number 10 overall player in Louisiana for 2023, as the state is stacked next season during the recruiting cycle. Johnson is, as we said, down at Newman in New Orleans, and of course his quarterback is Arch Manning, but he made it official on Friday as he committed to LSU. We talked to Shaz Preston, who is the state's number 1 wide receiver in next year's recruiting cycle, so it is going to be a really talented class. Chris Hilton is a part of LSU's class this season, this current season. Over the weekend, he was able to rack up more accolades and more medals. Chris Hilton, of course, down at Zachary High School, and has been a standout, has had a standout prep career both on the football field and within track and field. On Sunday, he took home Division I LHSAA state championship 400-meter dash with a time of 50.71 seconds. He entered the day with the top 400-meter mark in the state. He also finished in the top spot in the high jump, which he's been owning that over the last couple of years. He holds the nation's best mark at 7 feet and a fourth inch. He has been a multi-time state champion in the high jump dating back to his freshman season when he cleared 7 feet. Hilton, of course, is an LSU football commit. He's a part of that wide receiver class that includes Brian Thomas from Walker, St. Thomas More's Jack Besh, Deion Smith, who is the number 1 player out of Mississippi, and of course Malik Neighbors in the state of Louisiana, as those guys are all the 4 current wide receivers in this recruiting class. I have the link here. I don't know if we can pull up. Can we pull a picture up?
Yeah, I got it
off
ready.
of Twitter?
Yeah, it's ready.
Yeah, just pull that up. Chris Hilton Sr., Chris Hilton's dad, actually won the 400-meter state championship in 1989, and there's a great picture side by side that Hilton Sr. put on Twitter of him crossing the finish line and his son crossing the finish line at the state championship meet with that time in between, and it's a pretty cool moment. You could tell that's a cool picture. That's a moment that will live forever in the Hilton family. If you're watching right now on YouTube on the Jordy Culotta Show, you can see Chris Hilton Sr. and Chris Hilton Jr. there side by side. Senior in 1989 and junior, of course, in 2021, crossing the 400-meter dash finish line, both as state champions And yes, as Lloyd said, Chris Hilton has developed over the past couple of months. He looks like a big time wide. He looks like a D1 prospect.
He looks incredible.
Now, as he was kind of a guy that looked like a track. He almost looked like a track athlete playing football. He now looks like a football player running track.
Which is terrifying when you're out on the track.
Yes, and when he can run like that. And then the other piece of recruiting information before we get out of here in the first hour yesterday was that Walker Howard, who is LSU's quarterback commit for next year's class, was able to get a 5th star.
Let's go.
Yep, the best quarterback in the state next year over at St. Thomas More picked up his 5th star by rivals yesterday. Walker Howard elevated into elite company after throwing for 3,400 yards, 3,430 yards last season and 39 touchdowns. In the Division II state title game against De La Salle, he threw for 381 and 4 scores. He is a 2022 LSU commit. The Tigers class right now sits at number 3 in the country with 10 commits. Howard is one of 2 recruits from Louisiana with a 5-star ranking. As safety out of Ponchatoula, Jacoby Matthews, holds a 5-star ranking from rivals as well. But we've said this, in a state right now, whether it be Caleb Holstein, who's over at Zachary, who threw to Chris Hilton this season, or it's Arch Manning over at Newman, to me, the best quarterback in our state of Louisiana right now is Walker Howard at St. Thomas More. His release, his arm strength, his lineage, his dad, of course, is Jamie Howard, who played at LSU. He was a pro baseball draftee. Howard is a big time player. And so to see him yesterday get that 5th star, not really surprising, but he will have that. He will have that going into his senior season.
I mean, how polished is he already?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
He looks like a college quarterback playing high school, which is usually not very fair.
Yeah,
he's comfortable in the pocket. He makes some plays that he overextends and can do things that you really don't see very often, especially at the quarterback position here.
Yeah,
he's looking to throw, and he's got an absolute whip.
His release.
Oh, it's pro.
NFL.
Yeah,
I mean it's big time, man. I mean, the way that he throws the football, and you think about what the quarterback room is going to look like, or potentially could look like,
healthy
when he gets here. How good it could be. I mean, you're talking about Max Johnson, possibly TJ Finley still around. One of those, depending on what happens to those guys, Garrett Nussmeier is on campus right now. Walker Howard will be there. I mean, it will be as healthy of a group and room that LSU has ever seen. The best recruiter, one of the best recruiters in our state, is Frank Wilson. He's over at McNeese. The Pokes had last weekend off after a double overtime victory in Week 1 versus Tarleton State. They'll get back to it versus Incarnate Word this Saturday in Lake Charles, the home opener. I'd imagine that Frank Wilson, after all he's experienced since he's been down in Lake Charles, there were probably a couple of days where he could never even imagine walking the sidelines and coaching a football game at the McNeese State football facility, but he will do that on Saturday. We'll ask him about the preparation next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Hey, you know what's no secret what we got going over here at the Jordy Culotta Show? We're trying to disrupt how media and advertising moves forward. My friend of over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing the same thing for real estate with his new company, Falaya. I met with him in his own personal undisclosed location, and I got to see firsthand what Falaya has been doing and what he's been working on. It blew my mind, man. They are putting all the tools once reserved for professionals right in the hands of the homeowner. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. For more information, give my guy Barrett Blondo a call today at 225-939-6153 or visit him at Falaya. That's FALAYA.com for more info. Barrett Blondo over at Falaya.com. Changing the game in real estate. Every time we talk to LSU head basketball coach Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta Show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Some exciting new things coming up at Phil's here during the Lenten season, including featuring new seafood specials every Friday, in addition to the seafood-filled menu over there. And they're offering up brunch right now on Saturday and Sundays, which will have bottomless mimosas. Don't forget Monday night 50-cent oysters and $2 draft beers. all over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out. They're online at philsoysterbar.com, but they're located in the South Downs Shopping Center, a staple here in Baton Rouge for a long time. Go tell Anthony Piazza and the crew hello. Phil's Oyster Bar. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at RMB-Builders, and Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com.
You're listening to the Jordy Culotta Show with Rivers Huey, presented by Go Chevrolet.
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet. Remember, every day here you can check out the podcast brought to you by RMB Builders. Get in touch with Rhett Bourgeois today if you need a custom home built for you, 921-7062, or online at rmb-builders.com. They can help you out with some commercial construction as well as they're certified and licensed within the commercial space. But RMB Builders, custom home builders, can get you into a house and get you into a new house at 921-7062. Frank Wilson in the McNeese State football program, of course, an exciting week one double overtime victory over Tarleton State as the Pokes were able to come back and get that win 40-37 in double OT. What a week one performance for the Pokes. They were off week two and now back at it here in week three, and they'll be at home for the first time. Frank Wilson will be on the sidelines down in Lake Charles at home as he will be on the sidelines coaching the Cowboys. Coach, I got to imagine, since you were named head coach for McNeese, that there were probably some days and some nights where you thought to yourself, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get on the sideline and coach a game with everything that you guys have been dealing with off the field. I got to imagine this is a pretty special week for you and your crew.
It certainly is a special moment for our community. Get a chance to come into this stadium and as the kids would say, put on for our city. To go play the best brand of ball that we can play, and to give that back to the city of Lake Charles, to Southwest Louisiana. It's a big deal for us, and so we're excited about the opportunity to be at home.
How has preparation been since getting through the emotion of week one's win and getting into preparation here in week three? Did you like the bye week two? Or I'd imagine you would probably wanted to carry that momentum on and keep playing, huh?
You know, it's interesting. It was a volatile game, a very worthy opponent in Tarleton. As you see last week, they played again this weekend. We had a very impressive win against the New Mexico State team. They're a very talented team. And so we had some bump and bruises. And then on top of it, we had what we never have in the South and certainly in Louisiana, snow and ice and everything else. And so to would have had to be prepared to play a game may have been challenging for us because we weren't able to get on the field to practice. And so even in a bye week where you usually take advantage of that time in a practice schedule and preparation for the upcoming opponent, in development of your young kids who may not have played the week before. We didn't get a chance to do that because there was inches of snow on our field and the kids couldn't drive because there was ice on the roads and we had no water and pipelines were burst and everything else. And so, Jordy, it was one of the hits just keep on coming, and we took it in stride. But we were able to eventually, at the back end of the week on Thursday, get in here and get a day in, and then gave the guys the weekend off to get prepared for this week. And so Study has been intense. We've been able to get some film study, but on the practice field, we haven't had much opportunity to take advantage of what would be a bye week. But we go this week, and we'll be prepared and we'll be ready to go.
You mentioned that Tarleton State, first-year Division I FCS member, they blew out New Mexico State over the weekend, 43-17. After you had a chance to go back and watch that film, what did you learn about your team in getting prepared after week one?
You know, we went back and watched it, and they were we thought they were a talented team. They were undefeated in regular season a year ago. They played a couple of our conference opponents and did well against them. And so we knew they were certainly a viable foe. And so that we knew. When you actually play the game at their venue, it was senior day. It was a big deal for them. We had some elements that not only we had to deal with, but they as well. And just to see our team resiliency to bear itself in the midst of all of it. And when you have less than 4 minutes remaining and you call upon your team to just keep fighting. Good things will happen if you don't stop fighting. And our team did that. They continue to fight, and good fortunes happen for us. And we were very fortunate to come out of there with a victory against a very, very worthy opponent.
You had a couple of guys named Conference Players of the Week for their performance, including your quarterback, Cody Ogeron, but Jacob Abel, junior kicker, who knocked through 4 extra points in both field goal attempts, was named the Special Teams Player of the Week. How important is that part of your operation? And talk a little bit about Jacob before we talk about what Cody accomplished in week one.
Yeah, it's 1/3 of the football game. And so we spent a lot of time on it and trying to perfect it. Jacob was one of the more highly touted kickers in the nation out of junior college from Butler Community College, the same place we got old Zach Mettenberg from. So we went back to that resource. And we thought he would be. And it was good to see him have success. We've had heated competition at the place kicking position for us. And he won the job and went out and was perfect in PATs and perfect in field goal attempts. And so his progress has been steady and certainly ascending in the right direction for us. You know, and speaking of that, we our first passing touchdown was to Josh Matthews from Dunham High School out of Baton Rouge. It was good to see him make that play. And in overtime, we had a tackle by Isaiah Chambers. So I'm just alluding to a couple of guys that we were able to get at the mid-year point that came in by portal or signing class that can contribute in the spring and did so in a mighty way before I kind of allude on Cody here in a second.
And talk a little about Cody. Coach Ogeron was joining us on our platform that we had prior to this and telling us that the work that he had put in with guys like Russ Calloway in the offseason and really put an emphasis on his game and going back and forth between Lake Charles. How have you seen his game grow? And now as his head coach, what are your expectations for your signal caller?
Yeah, you know, he's always been a talent, always been athletic. I think his development as a quarterback continues to blossom. A late starter, only played his senior year in high school, was cast into or thrown into the fire once he got here and has played some very meaningful snap and a returning starter and just has made his way. But you see him get a pre-snap read. You see him go to his post-snap read. You see him go through a progression from one side of the field to the middle, and even at times from one side of the field to the middle, all the way back to his fourth progression, and that's development of the quarterback. And you see that now that you may not have seen in years in the past. And so his evolution continues. He's everything that we look for at the quarterback position, and poise and maturity and toughness and grit. And it was never more indicative when the game was on the line and we in the second overtime and we call his number a design run or run pass option, and he comes out the back door and there's an unblocked guy, and it's he and Cody, and his will to win and his ability to win in space to walk it off for victory was a special moment for us all.
Coach, you added a coach to your staff last week in Willie Mack, Coach Willie Mack Garza, who's going to coach your safeties for you. Talk about the addition and talk about how that works. And usually this is a time for hiring, but now you're bringing him in during the season.
Yeah, it was. We got a chance to work together. He worked with Coach Orgeron and I at the University of Tennessee, and went with those guys to Southern Cal when I came to LSU, and had the utmost respect for him. I remember the reverence that Monty Kiffin had for him, and Tony Dungy and all those guys when he first came on staff with us at Tennessee, and recall even his North Dakota football teams when he was the defensive coordinator there, and those guys winning national championships, and just thought he was an outstanding talent that we stayed in touch with for many years, and we had a blow right at the very end when our coach left to go on to further his career, and so I wanted someone that was veteran, but someone that was team, someone that had a high football IQ intellectually, and could add value to us, but needed to be the right chemistry. And he gives us all of those things. We brought him in, actually, Jordy, for a week to just be with us without hiring him, just to, as a consultant, to be around us to see how that would work the week leading into the game. And it just meshed. It felt right. With our other defensive assistant, it went well, and so it allowed us to be in position to hire him when we were able to.
How much are you able to build a shadow staff? We've seen that become so prevalent at the big schools, and LSU has really bought into that over the last couple of seasons, especially under Orgeron. How much are you able to add those types of guys to your staff and just bring them as consultants and analyst type roles?
Yeah, we're not as big as some of the FBS is in doing that. And so his was a necessity. But I didn't want to be premature. I just didn't want to hire a guy because, again, staff continuity, staff chemistry, it matters. It really does. And I didn't want to change what we were doing defensively. I wanted someone to be able to learn what we were doing and accommodating. So it kind of it was perfect timing because it took me from my head coaching role. I was coaching safeties for a week. And whatever it takes, man, by any means. So I was in there with the defense every day, all day, and we were getting after it. And but certainly he's veteran and has an expertise at the position, and so that was valuable to us, and he was available. And so having him, being able to get a guy who not traditionally will we just hire consultants and things of that nature, but we didn't want to be premature and just hire a guy and have a knee-jerk reaction. It had to be the right hire. And so we were able to do so in that capacity. And we're hopeful that it would fit, and fortunately it did. He became the right fit for us.
Follow the Cowboys football program on Twitter at McNeese Football as the Pokes open up their home schedule this Saturday. Finally, Coach Frank Wilson, who has changed the culture, and it is all about the city, for the city, down in Lake Charles, as they will kick it off this Saturday versus Incarnate Word. Coach, a message for future Cowboys, as we tell you, we have seen the feedback from this show. We are very popular around the I-10 corridor, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, Gonzales, New Orleans. I know that you are Louisiana first when you were building your program. What has your message been to future Cowboys?
Yeah, no doubt about it. If you're looking for a home, a place where your opportunities await you, a place where tradition is rich in history and conference championship, national championship opportunity, where a program is run like a family. Certainly it has business principles, but we're in a nurturing business. We're not the National Football League. We develop young men both on and off the field. And I think if you're around our staff, around our program, you'll feel that within our culture. We'll have an opportunity in this spring season to be able to have family and friends of Southwest Louisiana, of this region of the country, of the state, to come by. You know, our games are open and free to the public. It's something, a push that our president has put forth, and we want community and family of Louisiana first, for the city, for Lake Charles, to be able to come out and watch us and celebrate this opportunity with our football program.
The man, Frank Wilson, he'll be on the sidelines this Saturday in Lake Charles on the McNeese campus for the first time, as he's been the head coach for over a year. Now it's time finally for the Pokes to be under his direction in Lake Charles after a week one very emotional win. Coach, go get him on Saturday. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you as always for your time.
Thank you so much. Go Cowboys.
Yes, sir. There he is. Coach Frank Wilson checking in this morning from Lake Charles as the Pokes will tee it up this Saturday versus Incarnate Word for their home opener. John Brady is about to hop a flight down in New Orleans, so we will patch up with him next. We'll be back here in 1 minute and have Coach Brady on to talk a little bit about LSU basketball going up tonight against Georgia. Every time we talk to LSU head basketball coach Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta Show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Some exciting new things coming up at Phil's here during the Lenten season, including featuring new seafood specials every Friday, in addition to the seafood-filled menu over there. And they're offering up brunch right now on Saturday and Sundays, which will have bottomless mimosas. Don't forget Monday night 50-cent oysters and $2 draft beers. All over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out. They're online at philsoysterbar.com, but they're located in the South Downs Shopping Center, a staple here in Baton Rouge for a long time. Go tell Anthony Piazza and the crew hello. Phil's Oyster Bar. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at RMB-Builders, and Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com. Tuesday's edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, presented every day by Go Chevrolet. Remember, anytime we talk LSU basketball here on the show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. We'll be over at Phil's today for lunch, serving up great raw oysters right now, lunchtime specials.
Oh, you're so back, dude.
Yeah, I'm back, bro. I'm back. I'm telling you, it's back. And then don't forget about the Lenten menu over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Great seafood selections to add on to the seafood-based menu. But over at Phil's Oyster Bar, they've got great Lenten selections for you. Each time we talk to Coach Will Wade, we talk to Coach John Brady, we talk anything LSU basketball here, it is always presented by Phil's Oyster Bar, and we link up with Coach John Brady right now, who is set to make the call tonight for LSU Georgia. That'll be over at Stegman Coliseum. That'll be a 6 o'clock tip-off on the SEC Network, but you can catch it on the LSU Sports Radio Network with Chris Blair and John Brady. Coach is here with us this morning. Coach, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, Jordy.
Thank you for the time. LSU right now, Coach, after their latest win on Saturday, third straight win in conference play, seems to be as hot as any team in the league and maybe right now throughout this region. What do you make of where LSU is heading into this matchup versus the Bulldogs tonight?
Well, the first thing that I recognized was after the break when we didn't play the game and had the week off, and Coach Wade and his staff got to practice the team and clean up some things that they saw they were deficient in. It has certainly showed up in the last three games, particularly the last two games on the defensive end. Even though we controlled Mississippi State, we shot like 62% from the floor. Mississippi State still shot 53% from the floor. So our ability to score covered up, some defensive issues that we were still having. With the last two games that LSU has played, the opponent has shot under 40%. LSU's continued to shoot over 50%. And I don't care what you say about any other aspect of the game. If you separate a field goal stat by 12 to 15 points, you've got a chance to win a bunch of games, and that's what LSU has done the last three for sure. The coaching has showed up in the preparation that they did with the week off, and that's a compliment to Coach Wade and his staff.
I don't know what's been more impressive. They're free playing offensively, where they put 104 up on Saturday, or just it looks like more of an intense effort to defending and rebounding? What has been more impressive to you? What has stood out?
Well, I think, when LSU went through that low, lost 4 or 5, their shooting percentage wasn't as good, and they weren't guarding as well as they need to. I feel like sometimes the shooting's going to come and go. You can't always shoot 55% or more from the floor and just outscore people. At some point in time, you've got to be able to win a game when you don't shoot well. In the last 2 games, LSU has demonstrated an ability to really guard and look like they're having fun defending. The switching defenses, the switching man-to-man, the 1-3-1, the 2-3 zone, the things that Coach Wade's doing has really complemented this team, and they've shown they can really do it. And I think they're enjoying stopping people. So they're going to have that same challenge tonight. The point guard at Georgia is really good. He kind of dominated us here, and Georgia had an opportunity to win the game. If they control the point guard tonight, keep him out of the paint, and limit Georgia to one opportunity, I think LSU has a chance to win this game tonight on the road.
Yeah, Severe Wheeler is who Coach is talking about right now, averaging nearly 6 assists per game. What do you recall from that 94-92 thriller in January, that overtime win that LSU got over Georgia in the first matchup?
The point guard controlled the game. He got in the paint. He got assists. He accounted for somewhere over 40 points of their games with the points he scored and the assist he made that night. So containing him and making somebody else play make for Georgia, I think will be a plus for LSU.
Coach, Will Wade had some very glowing remarks about you yesterday. We played it inside of the beginning of this show. I know that you hold that relationship very near and dear to your heart as far as you don't speak about it publicly. When you hear him speak of it the way he did yesterday, calling for you to be in the LSU Hall of Fame and how much he leans on you, whether it be for philosophy or just a text message and a phone call just to give some advice, what was your reaction when you heard that?
I was humbled, really. I mean, that's an unsolicited compliment that he gave, and it was just over the top, too nice. I mean, I've always been careful of my relationship with him, not to, I'm not coaching the team. I did that already. It was a hell of 11 3/4 years, whatever it was. But, it's just his team. The thing that I understand is how difficult that job is and how difficult that chair is to sit in. And I'm there to help him. I told him in any way I can, but I never really offered advice unless I was asked. And he knows I'm careful about that situation. I don't want to be perceived as anything but what I am. I'm the color analyst for LSU basketball and really appreciative of that job. And, if Coach Wade didn't want me in it, he could certainly end it for me. But, it's been fun, and I was just humbled and really appreciative of him saying that. Not too many head coaches would say that about a former head coach that sits there every day and watches them play and that sort of thing. So it's just a compliment to his confidence and his belief in himself, and I'm just grateful. He appreciates me being there and can help him with whatever he wants me to help him with when I can.
Yeah, it seems like he's very secure in that seat with where you sit and looks to you for just advice and knowledge. And that was just good to hear him say publicly, because just knowing both of you guys, I know just kind of some of the inner workings of that relationship, and I'm glad that it was put out in the public. From a coach, from a former coach, what has been the biggest improvement? Because it seems like this team over the last month and a half is, if nothing else, the messaging from the coaching is getting through to the players. It seems like this team is now bought in.
Well, there's no question. The last 3 games, the ball movement, the player movement. I tell you what I like really offensively the last 2 or 3 games is they started early in the game taking the ball to the rim. They're not settling for a quick 3, although they can make that. But I think it opens up the 3-point shot by driving it early in the game and collapsing the defense. I think, Cam's field goal percentage the last 3 games has improved when they had the week off. And I think offensively, he's learning what a good shot is, what a bad shot is. He can make bad shots, but I think early in the game, he's taking the ball to the goal. Trenton Wofford he hasn't shot many threes the last 3 games, which I think is a plus for him. He's taking it to the rim, collapsing the defense, and he's very good at passing the ball out of the post when the defense comes and helps. So I think all of those, and the play, I got to say, the play of Javonte Smart's just been remarkable. I think the last 3 games, he's been the best guard in the SEC. And if they continue to have that mindset offensively, driving it first before settling for a 3, and keep improving defensively as they've shown the last 3 games, they got a shot here now. They could go to that SEC tournament and win it, and it'd be really hot going into the NCAA tournament with the right draws at the right place. You never know what might happen with this team.
You mentioned the Big Four, and they've been fantastic. Smart, Watford, Cam, Darius Days. But also another changing point for this team has been the ancillary parts picking up their slack. Mwani Wilkinson, Andre Hyatt, Eric Gaines, those guys stepping in and playing and applying big minutes for LSU. What have you made of their play?
Well, the complementary players that they are with the other 4 guys that need to score for LSU to really be successful, I think that they're filling that role. Hyatt's much comfortable. Wilkerson, as a freshman, has progressed. I just think that they all do something well to win the game to help LSU win, and that's all they need to do in that position. They recognize who needs to shoot the ball. The shot distribution is correct on this team from my standpoint. And I think those guys have filled the role of complementary players and making little plays that sometimes go unnoticed, but certainly not unnoticed by Coach Wade.
Do you try to coach your team intently to be playing right now? Or when you're in that seat, you just want them playing right every game, right? I mean, or is there a concerted effort to get your team ratcheted up to right now kind of be playing their best going into March?
Yeah, I think people make a big deal of, well, they're playing really well right now. But I think the overall goal for any coach is to get his team to play the best it can possibly play, regardless of the opponent, at any time of the year. And I think the progression that LSU has shown to this point is now evident, and they're showing it by their play on the floor. So, you could – I just don't think the goal is let's play well in March. I think that's a good thing to do. But obviously, I think of any coach is to improve your team every single day, work on the things at the moment you need to work on to make your team better for that particular next game that's coming up.
Last one, I'll get you out of here. What have you made of the minutes that Josh LeBlanc's given him?
He was excellent the last 2 games. Block shots, the length on top of the zone, he's really good. He causes some problems. He's another guy that's finding his role, accepting his role. He's not one of the big 4 that are going to score all the points, but he certainly is a player who has fit his role, and now he's really flourishing in that role that he has.
Safe travels. Have a great call tonight. We'll see you soon. Thank you always for the time.
Okay. Thanks, Jordy. Thank you.
Coach John Brady checking in this morning as he gives you the latest there on LSU basketball. Tigers going to throw it up tonight versus Georgia at Stegman Coliseum. It should be a good one over in Athens as those two teams tangled back in January. An overtime win for LSU, 94-92, came down to the wire. It should be a good one tonight. Advanaclean brings you the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, water, fire, mold. If you wake up and you feel water within the carpet, on the ground, if you smell fire, you see smoke damage, or you see mold around the house, you can get in touch with Advanaclean today. Get in touch with Bradley Lynch, my friend over at Advanaclean. He's running it right here in Baton Rouge. The man is a workaholic. He loves his job. He's passionate about what he does. And as I tell you all the time, if you got to get in touch with him, it's probably not going to be a good day, right? I mean, it's going to be a bad situation that you got water in your house, or your office, or you got fire, you got mold. But the peace of mind you can have in working with Lynch and Advanaclean is that they're going to work directly with the insurance company. They're going to take the headaches out of it. They're going to get everyone out there. They're going to make sure the work is done correctly and on time. So just get in touch with Advanaclean. Let them take away all of the headaches. They're online at ADVANTA clean.com. Just type them in, Advanaclean Baton Rouge, and it'll pop up. You'll see Bradley Lynch and his crew, and they'll get over there and get to you today. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. When we come back, we'll answer your questions. If you've got a question for the Jordy Culotta Show, you can still have time to jump inside of the bunker, drop the hashtag AskJCShow, Ask Jordy Culotta Show, and we will answer them next here on YouTube, where daily we're presented by Go Chevrolet. Go Chevrolet is under new management, but it's the same old familiar names that you know here from the area. Lee Carney and Nick Richard are up and running in LaPlace, Louisiana, and they want you to stop in today. But if you can't, they'll make it easy for you. They'll come to you. Log online to GoChevrolet.com. That's GEAUX GoChevrolet.com. Go Chevrolet is conveniently located on Airline Highway in La Place, Louisiana. Shop all the inventory, whether it's new or pre-owned, at GoChevrolet.com. That's GEAUX, Chevrolet.com. Every time we talk to LSU basketball coach Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta Show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Some exciting new things coming up at Phil's here during the Lenten season, including featuring new seafood specials every Friday, in addition to the seafood-filled menu over there. And they're offering up brunch right now on Saturday and Sundays, which will have bottomless mimosas. Don't forget Monday night 50-cent oysters and $2 draft beers, all over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out. They're online at philsoysterbar.com, but they're located in the South Down Shopping Center, a staple here in Baton Rouge for a long time. Go tell Anthony Piazza and the crew hello. Phil's Oyster Bar. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at RMB-Builders, and Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com. All right, over at Red Stick Sports right now, remember, you can shop the merchandise for the Jordy Culotta Show
at jordy.itemorder.com, jordy.itemorder.com.
And in fact, we were talking to Cody Worsham, or excuse me, not Cody Worsham, we were talking to Cody Edwards over at Red Stick Sports yesterday, and Red Stick just posted a link to their LSU apparel on Facebook and Twitter. So if you can get over to the Red Stick Sports Facebook page or the Twitter page, you can see there everything on the website is in the store in Essen. They're just making it more accessible to everybody out there. They can pull it off the rack, ship it the next day, or they can pick it up, or you can pick it up at the store. So check out Red Stick Sports Facebook and Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, we're 45 away from 3,000.
Yep.
So if you're out there on social media, if you're looking for another follow, if you're looking to keep up with the Jordy Culotta Show, remember, hit us on Twitter, as it'd be pretty cool. We can get to 3,000 before maybe even the end of the week. We'll hand away some gear.
Everybody text one person, and that should get it done.
Your mailbag questions, or excuse me, your Ask the JC show.
Again.
Wow. Sheesh. Still sick.
Hit an English muffin in the head.
Sheesh. All right, let's get to some of these questions, Nikki.
Rusty Leger, hashtag Ask the JC Show. Is Arch Manning overrated and living off his last name?
I do not think so.
I don't think so either.
If you have seen Arch Manning play, he is as good as advertised. He is a premier athlete. He is big, strong. He's got players around him, but he looks the part. He's definitely not. I mean, when he stands up straight in the pocket, he looks like Peyton Manning. I mean, he looks almost identical to Peyton Manning at that age. I mean, he doesn't look like Peyton right now, but I mean, he just, he's big time. He's big time.
Chili Vic, Jordy, what do you think about Aaron Anderson from Carr?
I don't know much about Aaron Anderson from Carr.
Put Google here.
Aaron Anderson.
Well, he looks
Next question.
Slattery McCollum, hashtag Ask the JC Show. Did y'all watch the latest episode of Duck Camp Dinners?
I have not, but I want to. I have on today to get in touch with Jean-Paul Did you?
I watched a couple of them. Dude, his the production value is off the charts, and they just seem like they're having a good time.
Yes.
That's what makes it. You know?
Yeah, they're out at the duck camp cooking up, and everybody's just kind of hanging around the fire, drinking beer and eating food, and it was like, well, I kind of want to be there.
Yeah.
They got great vibes.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
They cook up great vibes over there.
Served up great vibes daily.
Duck camp dinners. But yeah, Jean Paul is he's great, man.
I love him. Barrett Pepper wants to know, #AskTheJC Show, is it time for Hunt to hang up the insurance gig? He looked pretty comfortable on the couch.
He'll be here every Tuesday, for sure. But as he expressed after he was getting up, he is getting married on Friday, which means that he will need that income.
Multiple streams.
To be coming in for sure. And it seems like old Hunt's had a nice little success early on as a insurance salesman. So I'd imagine that he has shown that he can do both, and that he will probably stay in both capacities. But we love having him here on the Jordy Culotta Show, as he'll be here every Tuesday talking with us. And he's great on LSU baseball. He's fantastic on LSU basketball. He's great on all things LSU. He's just part of the network over there. And
Just got to get the man in the booth.
yeah, I can't believe he's not in baseball yet. Matthew Chauvin said Manning has the big name and is talented, but Howard is better. I agree with that. I've said a couple of times that I think that Walker Howard is the best quarterback in the state of Louisiana. When you look at a very talented state right now, whether it be Caleb Holstein over in Zachary or Arch Manning, to me, Walker Howard's the dude. He's the guy over at St. Thomas More who really is kind of the standout. And once he gets to LSU, he's committed to LSU right now. And if that commitment sticks and he gets on campus, I would say that it won't take him long to rush to the top of that quarterback depth chart, because I just think from a natural talent standpoint, he's the one. As we mentioned yesterday, he got his 5th star in recruiting. Rivals came down and gave him his 5th star as he threw for 3,400 yards last season, 39 touchdowns, led St. Thomas More to the Division II state championship.
And caught fire in the state championship.
Yeah.
They needed him.
Really
I
good.
think in the state championship game, I've got it right here. He went off. He threw.
Was it 350?
Yeah, like for 350 yards and
five
five touchdowns.
touchdowns.
But we were talking a little bit about it earlier. I mean, just his natural release to everything, the way that he plays the game, his lineage. I mean, his dad was a Major League Baseball draftee, early draftee, and then played quarterback at LSU. I mean, he's just got it, man. I mean, he looks like he's the dude. He'll be going back for his senior season.
I don't know if anyone's surprised, but DeMarcus Cousins is getting waived.
To the Lakers.
I don't think that's really news, but
That might be it.
You think so?
That might be it.
I think he gets one more flyer.
Yeah,
There's going to be a team that's going to make a run and need him. I mean, he can still play a little bit,
a
but
little bit.
he was in a bad situation in Houston.
Yeah, he was breaking down though over the last couple of years.
Oh yeah, once
Yeah.
you get that Achilles, as you know.
Yes, indeed, man. It
that's
is
brutal.
is a totally different thing,
How about this Oklahoma wide receiver? Huh? Oh my gosh,
bro.
dude.
Lucky to have an eye.
don't mess with him, bro.
That is
Like,
that is a nightmare. See, this is why you don't pick fights, man. You don't pick fights
don't
because
do
you never know. You
He's on the
never
other
know. If you
side.
saw this, man, I don't know if you can play the. Did you see OU Sports Daily? What they tweeted out about old Spencer Jones?
You get that little PR move.
Spencer's just a superb kid. He didn't deserve this ever. We're talking about Oklahoma Sooners wide receiver and holder Spencer Jones, who had to undergo surgery and is recovering after a fight at the campus corner bar last weekend. Nearly cost him his left eye, as he is in a piss-soaked bathroom, which is disgusting, in college. And him and his buddy are like kind of going back and forth with the, can you play the video?
Oh yeah, it's coming up.
Okay.
And it's just an absolute. The way this man sets this fight up is all time. It's like a script. He gets pushed. He wipes the blood off his nose, looks at his buddy, goes, "Which one do you want?" Then slaps him and hits him with the right. Then it's game over. Everybody's going down. There's people peeing all over the place. There's guys pretending to help. It's just an absolute scene in Oklahoma.
I mean-
he gets rear naked choked. I mean, it's just a bad move for this
is this
guy.
an official Oklahoma account that tweeted that out?
It's OU Sports Daily.
Okay, so
tweeted
it's
it
not.
out.
So it's not like a.
So it's kinda like-
university account.
No, it's not a university
Okay,
account.
good.
Dude,
It's not
could
a
you
university
imagine that? Like your night's going, okay,
Not bad.
not bad, and then some guy's 5'7" in cowboy boots picks you up and drops you and takes your eyeball from you.
What about the dude in the blue denim jacket that looks like a
All-time
Backstreet
villain.
Boy?
Dude, he's got
I mean, he
the
looks.
turtleneck with the jacket.
He's got such a hateful face. Like you just would love to hate that guy. I mean, he gets.
He's the one that started
yoked.
it.
Yeah, he is the one that started
A little shove, a little too early shove.
I mean,
and
he
then-
gets slammed up against the wall with his neck. I mean, it's just a bad scene, bro.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
gets he gets the worst of it.
And you can tell these people in the urinal can't do anything because, I mean, they got their dick in their hand, essentially. So it's like, what do you do? I'm peeing over here. I'm getting bumped into. So you just kind of have to let that play out, I'd imagine.
Where do you think the orbital is? It right there? Boom! I mean, he pops him right, or it might happen when they get on the ground.
I think when he gets on the ground, he gives him one and then gets him in the all the UFC moves start that waylaying.
But what a nightmare!
No,
right?
it's just a total night ruiner.
The absolute definition of a nightmare. You think you're this badass football player.
Oh, you're a holder.
You're gonna walk out. You're gonna go out, get into the bathroom, try to pick a fight with this kid that obviously is smaller than you. Like he's like kind of like looking down, talking trash to this guy. And like Lloyd said, I mean, this guy's reaction when he looks at his friend and says, "Which one do you want to take?" And they just obliterate these two guys, these two football players, or one of them's a football player from Oklahoma, in this piss-soaked bathroom, college bathroom. I mean, you can just see how disgusting it is in there. I mean, all the bar gunk on the floor.
Yeah. I mean, I'm used to a bar that doesn't have a bathroom on the stall, so they're a little nicer than what I like. But oh my goodness, I mean, what do you do after you win that fight? Do you think you just walk out, slam a shot, and leave?
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, you can't hang
I'm
around.
definitely out. I mean, there's no telling what you smell like. I mean, just rolling around on a bathroom floor sounds like some sense of torture here.
Yeah.
I love the people in the bathroom. They're like stepping over. I'm like, whoa, bro,
What happened?
what's going on? But a bad scene and an absolute nightmare, and that is why I don't pick fights.
Don't pick fights.
That's why I don't pick fights,
Do not pick
because you
fights.
never know. But first off, I'm 5'8". You know what I mean? I'm the small guy. But I mean, like even a guy smaller than you just never know.
Well, yeah, there's a lot
You
of
just never know. You just
Yeah.
never know, bro. Size don't mean nothing. I mean, that cat turned on that right hook, came back with that left hook, and before you knew it,
He's on
Spencer
your
Ross
back.
had no idea what the hell was going
He
on.
sets him up for the hook with the slap.
the slap,
Yeah.
dude, the
and hook.
blood,
I mean,
the
it's
blood
just-
wipe slap hook is an all-time move.
So he got hit? Did he get hit first?
Yeah, he had a bloody nose, so I don't know if it's like it spilled over into the bathroom and they're like kind of hashing it out, but it turns out they were just going to fight again.
No.
Don't pick
But-
fights.
Don't pick fights, man.
Don't do it.
Yeah, they said there's some internet like research like, dude, cat has a cauliflower ear, leave him alone.
Yes.
I mean, he's been rolling around on the ground.
Amen.
Yeah, he's been MMA and UFC and whatever, but
Amen.
he's got some skills.
Yep, and that's easy to pick up. You see the cauliflower ear, I am out, bro. I'll see y'all later. That's a badass. I'm out of here. But what a hell of a lesson for Spencer Ross. Spencer Jones. I mean, dude almost lost an eye. Dude almost lost an eye. I mean, the surgeon said, I mean, it was a miracle.
What do you think that looked like coming out of the bathroom?
Not good.
I mean, it has to be dangling.
I've seen an eyeball knocked out of an orbital socket.
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, and it's as crazy as you think it is. I mean,
No.
I saw a bouncer at what is now JL's place. Back when I was in college, it was Dublin's. I saw a
he
bouncer.
was seeing Dublin.
I saw a bouncer in that parking lot knock a cat's eyeball out of his orbital socket.
Ugh.
I mean, what do you do after that? That's
Go to the hospital?
dude, yeah, there's no putting that sucker back in. You know, if you lose a tooth or break your jaw, you're like, fuck. Oh, sorry, excuse me. You're like, oh, shoot. You know, but if your eyeball's hanging out, you got to call, I need some help.
Yeah, I mean, it's a scary scene, dude. I mean, old Spencer Jones, man. Watch who you pick fights with. It was a terrible. It was a nightmare. But it is on the OU Daily Sports. At OU Daily Sports is the one that tweeted out, Spencer's just a superb kid. He didn't deserve any of this.
Incredible to
Ever.
get traction on the wet bathroom floor in cowboy boots. That's you're slipping and sliding around, but he found his footing, and oh my God. He just
More of a
waylaid
case of
him.
how big of a badass.
Yeah.
All right, we appreciate your interaction, appreciate your questions here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, if you're inside the bunker, that you can drop your hashtag questions. Looking forward to tomorrow here at the Jordy Culotta Show. Richard Lipsy is going to be in studio. He is coming to the undisclosed location. He did not give me I asked him if it was cool if we kept. I just want him to tell stories. You know that Richard Lipsy was one of 4 people in the room with JFK when he got shot in Dallas. He was working an internship for the FBI, and he was 21 years old. And he was in, I guess, what would be the morgue, where they brought JFK when literally, and I hate to describe it, but when like his brains were hanging out of his head, there was only like 4 or 5 people in that room, and Richard Lipsy was one of them.
Dude, I want to hear this guy talk.
I mean,
That's a story.
is that a story? All right, so we're going to get that story tomorrow. I want to ask him about what it's like to have as much power or just assume so much power. When you ask people about Lipsy, the first thing that they will say is, I ain't pissing him off. I don't want to piss him off.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, what's the future of LSU sports? What was it like back in the day when he was on the LSU board of directors? Now it feels like he's kind of like outgrown that stuff. I mean, he's so much bigger than that stuff. I cannot wait to put him in this. We got to put him in this chair.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's gotta be in the chair.
We can't ask
Might
Lipsy.
bring his own chair.
Right. We can't ask Lipsy to sit on the couch. But he's coming here tomorrow morning, and we'll talk to him about everything. We'll talk to him about everything. Everything is on the table. Just the start for Steinberg's and Lipsy's, what it's like to be a gun manufacturer today. You know, what's that like? The power that he yields within our state and LSU. And of course the cool stories that this man has, bro. Just like
Open forum and just let him talk.
Being in the room or being around JFK. I want him to take me back to that time. You know, not even really inside of the hospital or inside of the morgue. I just want to know what it was like to be around the FBI at 21 during that time of our American history.
That is fascinating.
Right?
I cannot wait. Like, I had no idea this was coming.
How much in trouble do you think that meeting was after, like, for the FBI? Like, well, where were you guys? Like, what were we doing here? We didn't scope the place out the way we were supposed to.
I mean,
2 shooters, grassy knoll, nobody's checking.
So I can't wait for tomorrow's show. I really can't. He'll be here at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Richard Lipsy will be at the undisclosed location. Do we blindfold Lipsy?
I don't know.
He already knows where this place is. He's got to.
I mean, if he works for the
how
FBI,
much
he knows
disrespect
exactly where
if we
are.
asked him? Yeah, like, did we ask him to put this blindfold on? I mean, what if he's like,
I think we make an exception.
if there was ever one, if there was
I
ever
think it's
one,
this one.
if there was ever one. All right, so come back with us. We'll close out Matthew Chauvin. What a guy, seeing JFK's. All right. All right, we'll close it out next. Hey, you know it's no secret what we got going over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. We're trying to disrupt how media and advertising moves forward. My friend of over 35 years, Barrett Blondo, is doing the same thing for real estate with his new company, Falaya. I met with him in his own personal undisclosed location, and I got to see firsthand what Falaya has been doing and what he's been working on. It blew my mind, man. They are putting all the tools once reserved for professionals right in the hands of the homeowner. It's basically for sale by owner on steroids. For more information, give my guy Barrett Blondo a call today at 225-939-6153 or visit him at Falaya. That's FALAYA.com for more info. Barrett Blondo over at Falaya.com. Changing the game in real estate. Every time we talk to LSU head basketball coach Will Wade here on the Jordy Culotta Show, it's brought to you by Phil's Oyster Bar. Some exciting new things coming up at Phil's here during the Lenten season, including featuring new seafood specials every Friday, in addition to the seafood-filled menu over there. And they're offering up brunch right now on Saturday and Sundays, which will have bottomless mimosas. Don't forget Monday night 50-cent oysters and $2 draft beers, all over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out. They're online at philsoysterbar.com, but they're located in the South Downs Shopping Center a staple here in Baton Rouge for a long time. Go tell Anthony Piazza and the crew hello. Phil's Oyster Bar. Hey, if you're in the market for a custom home, get in touch with our friend Rhett Bourgeois over at RMB Builders. They're online at rmb-builders, and Rhett can do just about anything you need around the house. He can build you a new one. He can repair the one you're in. He can remodel. If you need commercial construction help, he's licensed for commercial as well. He can handle an office renovation, building maintenance. Check out everything. It's online at rmb-builders.com. He's on social media, Instagram and Facebook. You can find him at the handle at RMB Builders LLC. But the website is fantastic. Check him out, rmb-builders.com. Can you be assured that the air and surfaces in your home are clean, sanitized, and safe for you and your entire family? You can now by logging on to valera.com/Jordy Culotta, where you, your home, your office, your family can be protected 24/7 with active pure technology. This NASA-based science has proven 99.9% reduction of airborne SARS-2 and COVID-19 virus in just 3 minutes. Log on now to valera.com/Jordy Culotta.
Have a late night and can't make it for the Jordy Culotta show at 7 a.m.? No worries. Catch us on demand on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast.
All right, closing out the Jordy Culotta show here on this Tuesday. Much love to John Brady for stopping by here. If you missed it, remember, check out the podcast brought to you by RMB Builders online at rmb-builders.com, or you can call Rhett Bourgeois and his crew this morning at 921-7062. RMB Builders is online, rmb-builders.com. Looks like Carson Wentz is not going to get number 11 in Indianapolis.
Dude,
How do you feel about the play from Michael Pittman Jr.
I'm
here?
glad you brought this up because it reminded me of this time when I played football. I got one of those like Revo helmets. Like it was like back in like 2011 when those were new, and it was like the Revo, not the Revo Speed, but like the original Revo. And I was like, I love this helmet so much, so cool. And then one of the upperclassmen comes one day and is just like, hey, this is mine now. And he just takes it, and I never got it back. So I
what
just,
a flex.
Yeah, so it's like Carson Wentz could easily just come in and like strong arm him, but to see him like going along with it apparently is kind of surprising to me, considering he's a vet, $32 million a year. You know, that just doesn't seem like the play to just let the
Can
rookie.
Carson Wentz really do that though? Like at this point, I think he's been so bad the last 2 years that really within NFL locker rooms, I wonder what his respect level of his play is. I'm sure he's a great dude.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I'm sure he's an. I don't know that, so I can't say whether or not he's not. But I mean, like this is the quote that TMZ got from Michael Pittman Jr. And just by this quote and by this story, it seems like he's pretty cool. He says, "Yeah, I spoke to Carson, and he was just seeing how locked in I was to number 11. I told him I was locked in, and he was like, 'That's cool, bro, because I'm probably going to switch my jersey anyway.' He asked me very respectfully, and I just appreciated him for that. I think he's a great dude because lots of guys with his status, they would come in and demand stuff like that. Michael Pittman had 40 grabs for 500 yards and 1 touchdown last year. I mean,
Right,
I guess when you're talking about it in that scope, then yes, I guess Wentz could walk in there and say, "Hey, Pittman, give me your number 11."
Yeah, it's not like he's talking to T.Y. Hilton, you know?
Right.
He's talking to a rookie.
That's where I'm coming from. Like he's a rookie. Like yes, he was the guy who had the number before, but like he's also the dude who's throwing you the ball. Like so, this kind of thing this early on in the relationship is not something that I would want happening in my locker room. I don't know.
I think Carson's going for the total rebrand anyway. New number.
If I was
If I was him,
advising
yeah.
Carson, if I was on his team, I would say, bro, scrap it all.
Wipe the slate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no more
What's your
sleeve.
second favorite number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, go get it and just start over, man.
Because like you pointed out, the last 2 years, you don't want anyone thinking of the Carson Wentz that has been. You know, this needs to be a rebirth for him.
And the year that he was his best was with Frank Reich.
Right.
The offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He was the offensive coordinator in Philly, and now he's the head coach in Indianapolis. So there is there's a reunion there between Wentz and Reich happening in Indy. So, I think you can capitalize off of this. I mean, you can say, hey, look, this is where I was at my best with this coach. Let me start fresh here in Indianapolis if it doesn't work out. But shout out to Michael Pittman Jr. He said, "Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm gonna stick with 11." And then this was confirmed yesterday. Did you see this? Aaron Rodgers is engaged to is it Shailene? Shailene Woodley. She became famous on Big Little Lies, the HBO series. She said that they have been engaged or have been engaged or got engaged a while ago. Rodgers had mentioned his engagement and thanked his fiance when he was accepting his third MVP award in early February, but he did not say Woodley's name. Woodley was on the Jimmy Fallon show as she appeared on the Tonight Show that aired on Monday. And said that she acknowledged she was a sports fan growing up, but not really football. She didn't know anything about football. And she said when we met, I knew he was a football guy, but I didn't know what kind of football guy he was. And I'm still constantly learning. Remarking on Rodgers' football talent, she continued, "I don't get it. He's good. He's great, but I don't understand because I don't know him as a football guy.
Okay,
I know him as the nerd who wants to host Jeopardy. That's the dude I know."
That's sweet. That's nice.
That's pretty cool.
That.
I mean, it gives you a little background into Aaron Rodgers.
A-Rod's putting together a little dating history.
He's
got quite the lineup.
He does.
Doesn't usually pull out the engagement card, so he must be feeling some type of way.
I mean, he's gotten a couple of A-listers to travel to Green Bay and hang out.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right, man. He has been pretty active on the dating scene. All right, so that'll do it for us here on this Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, we're brought to you by Johnson and Spillers Dentistry. Remember, you can get them online, johnsonandspillers.com. Get in touch with Dr. Chad Spillers. Pediatric dentistry, fillings, molds, everything that you may need for and around your dentist over at Johnson and Spillers. They can help you out. Online, johnsonandspillers.com. If you want to get in touch with Johnson and Spillers Dentistry. 2 locations, Gonzales and one here in Baton Rouge. Stop in and check them out and tell them you heard it here on the Jordy Culotta Show. For Nick, for Mikey, for Lloyd, we'll be back with you tomorrow morning. Richard Lipsy in the Undisclosed Location, 8 a.m. Tell everybody. We'll be here tomorrow morning.